like, what else do other, like,
Yeah,
like, I
you
was a
paid
streamer for a
all
while.
that.
You set and forget.
You paid all that money for it too. I mean, really, you'd think
I
you'd
mean,
get
this is
something for that.
free OBS, but you set it, you forget it. Like, I didn't change a goddamn thing, and then they all of a sudden changed my capture source for
I don't know,
your
man.
audio.
I just work here.
How much you get paid, man? Do I see any of
It's
that?
about the same as you get, the
About the
same
same
as
as
you
me?
paid for
Okay.
OBS.
Well, we are both CEOs, you know.
Hey.
Well, hey, dude, we're on now, and we finally get to hear
Are
you.
we back
So
on the internets
we are
again,
back on the
finally?
internets.
Hey, welcome to Critters in Taiwan, a D&D podcast about Critical Role, where a bunch of nerdy-ass voice actors sit around and play Dungeons and Dragons. I am Ben and Gaoshang,
I'm Tim and Taichung.
and we're Critters in Taiwan.
Yeah, we are.
Yay! Pew pew pew.
Man. So what are we talking about today,
Finger
dude?
guns. Tonight we're talking about campaign 3 of Critical Role's journey in Exandria, episode number 51. The
We may be a
Apogee
little burnt out.
Solstice.
Yeah, the Apogee Solstice,
Yay!
which sounds a
They-
little on the nose and also
they
maybe
did
a
a
little bit
thing.
false.
They did a thing where they said the thing that is happening when they
Yeah.
did the thing.
But it doesn't really feel. I mean, the
Listen, man,
solstice is a cosmic thing that happens. There's something that happened, but like I didn't feel like I
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
it.
Sorry, not spoilers. Sorry, spoilers, not spoilers. It didn't happen. I don't think.
I don't think so.
Doesn't.
They
It
got the
doesn't
beams,
feel
though,
like it happened. Well, yeah, we got that little thing at the end, right,
So
where he
maybe
said
that's when
and
it started.
you
Was like when all the
Of course,
started.
of course that's what happened.
So like maybe the solstice did happen, but
I think
There's a lot
Ludinus
to be-
pulled the trigger early. I think he had to. I think he jumped the gun before the solstice, and I think now they've got to wait until the actual solstice happens to shatter that mesh around the moon.
all right. Now what I think the solstice did happen, but whatever they were trying to do was maybe a little bit mistimed.
Okay.
At the because the
Curious.
solstice is going to happen. It's not on somebody's push of a button. But
Right.
if you don't push the button at the right time, I feel like something, might be a little bit askew.
Well,
which was a little evident in how
Yeah.
Matthew was saying stuff. It's like,
I think
it doesn't
that
matter. It's fine. It's already done,
I think that what they've done is they've shot a laser beam up, and then they're just sort of waiting for the everything to line, like the solstice to come together. The laser's at the moon, and I think that when the apogee solstice eventually lines up, that laser is going to go pew, and
Right.
a billion. It's gonna like 1.21 gigawatts, and it's just gonna
I mean, I feel like it
Gigawatts.
probably already
Gigawatts?
happened.
gigawatts.
They
I
say
think he said
giga, so I say giga. I think it may have already happened because there's no moons in the sky.
in one spot.
It's nighttime.
Yeah, it's dawn where the other ones were, though.
Okay. We should get into this.
Yeah. Matt split the party, dude.
He did.
Okay,
He
so I
did.
got some things. Yeah, I got some math rocks. You got some
Okay.
math rocks?
Yeah, I haven't done my.
Let's get into the rollies then.
Okay, all right.
I'm still
The blue
sticking
one's
with this
coming
big
first.
with the chonky guy. I like
All
these
right.
35 millimeters dices.
I would love to get one of those one of these days.
They're solid sounding.
All right, here we go.
Ka-thunk.
Ooh.
Ready?
I mean, I say not bad. I got
got
me
an
a
eight.
12.
I get an 8.
A 12 and an 8.
I haven't rolled over 10 in a couple of weeks, my friend.
That was the first one over 10. I think that's why I was like, ooh, in the teens.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're first then.
Oh, geez. Okay. All right. I should have gone over these before I came back. I don't have anything on like the main ideas here. These are all just like
That's
thoughts
fine.
throughout the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll save that one because that's kind of a bigger point. Let's start with this one. From the break, Matthew was like, we're going to break so I can give you guys a chance to think about what you're going to do, right? Or maybe he said that at the end of that. No. He said
No.
at
He
the
said that
break.
at the break. I'll give you guys because that was right when Odahan Thule was like coming in. He's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'll give you guys
Descending
a chance to think
upon
about what
them,
you're going to
as
do.
he said.
That's
Yeah.
right.
And this, what do you think about that? Because they have the break in their game,
Hmm.
right? Where like they break off for 10, 15 minutes, whatever. And then they can talk to each other frantically if they need to. And then they come right back in at the same exact spot. But now all of a sudden, all of these thoughts over 10, 15 minutes just get, sunk down into one idea that they all share,
Yeah.
you
It
know?
feels you're just what you're describing is it gets you feel that it might get a little metagamey.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Right.
yeah, I mean, because it's collective thoughts instead of what the one person was thinking.
I have I have two thoughts on that if you want to hear both of them.
I'd love to.
Number one is exactly what you just said. It feels a little metagamey. But then number two is it's balanced. I've always felt this about D&D where the game transitions into metagame is a sweet spot that has balance where the players at the table are not the characters in the game. And the characters in the game would be, if they were real, they would have much more opportunity to engage with each other and the world than the players ever can allow them to. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you understand
I'm
what I'm saying
I'm
there?
picking up
You
what you're
with
putting
me?
down.
So it's this. I think Liam put it very, very distinctly in campaign 2, where he said that like our characters drop deuces, or I think he said go dookie sometimes, but we don't talk about that in at the table.
Oh, yeah, he said that in
But of course
campaign
they
two, I
do.
believe, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Campaign 2. So there's this balance thing that happens where you have to allow the players. I'm talking about it from a DM perspective here. You have to allow the players, and from a player perspective too. You have to let the players discuss things because their characters would also be doing that as well. It's
Hmm.
just in when I understand what you're saying about like you're truncating everything into this moment, and they wouldn't have that much time. But at other times,
Okay.
there's a balance, right?
Okay.
So you
Yeah.
kind of, and that's a sort of that's a table thing. And I think that varies at every table. Some tables are a little bit more stricter than others, and I think you have to let the flow not interrupt the actual game,
Yeah.
and
So like in
and you can't let the game disrupt the flow. So it
right.
works. It has to be both ways.
So in that negative space that you don't see like between
Kind of.
episodes, like yeah, of
That's
course
kind
you're
of what
allowed
I'm
to
talking
talk to
about.
each other and shit, right? Um uh but the reason I say it is cuz after these 3 campaigns, after it's not over. Um
It's over.
like if they didn't have a break, they wouldn't have that plan just like I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. If
Sure,
they
but
just
then
continued on through the entire episode
you
without
could
a
also
break.
you could also say that about the end of an episode, and then they have a week off to actually sit and think about things, and that's an even bigger time where they can be chatting with each other. There's somebody sitting on the can and going, "Holy shit,
Yeah.
guys, we should do this!" Click, 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 and that would never happen in real game either.
Right.
So you have these. You need some form of balance on these things.
Well, I mean, it would happen in real games because games don't go from level 1 to level 8
Mm,
nonstop. Every
that's true.
game stops at some point.
Yep.
But they get it's just the nature of the beast, I think. It's just like
Hmm.
they have a break. It's only 10, 15 minutes, but they're just like, where Matthew's
Yeah.
maybe not allowed, and they just like fucking talk about shit, get a
Right.
piece of pizza in their face, and then take a
Hmm.
shit, and
Hmm.
then come back.
Who knows, right? Like,
Yeah.
sure, but I think that I don't think it really matters. I don't think it actually has any ramifications on the game because Liam is not a halfling battle master, you know.
Right.
So to be understanding like how a battle master, somebody who is training and training and training every single day, how they would think is difficult because you're trying to your best to put yourself into their perspective and into their reality, but you wouldn't come up with things as quickly as Orem would. Like
Right.
Liam is not going to
He's an
on
actor,
the fly.
director.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on the fly, the if Orem was a real thing, he would be coming up with ideas on how to do things way faster
Yeah.
than Liam ever would.
You're
And
right. That makes me
you
feel a
know,
lot
there's
better.
there is some balance there where you need to give them some time to figure things out because they're not quite they're listen, they're very, very close to being, we've talked about this many times, they're at the upper echelon of the best D&D players. They're very, very good at it, but they're still not, Sam is not FCG. Travis
Right.
is not Chetney. These are characters. They play. You can talk about, you talk about what's his name, Last of the Mohicans guy, the method actor.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Thank you. Daniel Day-Lewis. He walks around in Abe Lincoln's clothes for months to get into the role. But
It was very strange on the set of Last of the Mohicans, but he still did it.
A top hat, it fit in a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, it's like, dude, don't hide your hair.
Yeah, so I mean, like those sorts of things. You can talk about method actors methoding, but when you're just a lowly voice actor, you're not quite in the same mindset. Maybe.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's great, man.
I'm not
that's
any kind of an actor, so I don't even know.
Like, I didn't know what I was hoping to hear, but I mean, like 3 campaigns in, I'm like, that break, it really allows them to, like you said, put tons of thoughts into a moment.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. So I don't know.
But I'm okay with it now. You've made my peace with it. You've made my peace with it. How many times has that been said in the world?
I'm going to completely yes end that one with I've got a timestamp at 56 minutes
Of the Twitch stream.
Twitch stream 56 minutes. So that's like 30 minutes on the YouTube, whatever. So about a half an hour in, they if you remember, they ended the episode last week, number 50, with splitting the party. And I think so at like 56 minutes, they come together again. And it really felt like they discussed it over the week break or whatever it was, however long the break was. We don't know because they're all pre-recorded. It really felt like they had discussed that.
Could have been a day. We don't know.
Because, sure. I think Travis at one point said, hey, you've had a week to think about this. So, but he could be just, he could be just saying that for yeah, exactly. That's for the benefit of knowing that these episodes are every week. I think that it felt like this was contrived. It felt like this was like, oh yeah, no, okay. And I don't mean contrived in a bad way. I mean, this was decided on, that splitting the party and having FCG and Fern on the airship while they went into the pit was a terrible idea. And so they decided, well, this is, how do we fix that? Okay, this is how we fix it. Now they're back together again. So again, that's one of those things that I think they figured out over the break between episodes, and maybe not something that they would have done in an episode. So giving them some stretched out time allows them to make better decisions and get more into the mindset of the actual team or individual players.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel much more relieved,
Cool. Oh yeah, I still want to hold on to that one.
It's happened a number of times in the 3 campaigns where they come back from break and they're like, I'm going to do this. And then like they kind of point at the next person. We're like, and I'm going to do this. And be like, yeah. Because then it's not table talk if you did it before you got to the table,
Yeah, exactly.
All right, cool, man. Let's get another roll in there.
Get another roll in here.
I'm sticking with the blue one.
Motherfucker, 19.
11. Look at you getting over 10.
Okay. I think I did roll a nat 20 last week. I might have.
Last week? I don't think so, man. I think we were both shit. The week before that, I think he had 2 in a row. I don't know. Get in touch if you don't remember.
Okay, I'm gonna jump back because I don't have a lot of things to say about the first half of this episode. There was lots of giggles, lots of nervous energy, lots of weird stuff that was happening. It's so many deception checks. But there was one really interesting thing that did happen at the 43-minute and 2-second mark. Right when FCG and Fern are leaving the airship, Ira turns to Fern, and going back and rewatching this episode, I didn't catch this. I think maybe I did, but I didn't even really pay attention to it. Ira turns to FCG and goes, Ira Wendigoth. Ira Wendigoth.
It's too close to
the Nightmare King. He says to FCG I think it's missing a lens. Something to think about. And then he skitters off. Man, what a thing. Did you get it? Nope.
No.
what
Between
a
the fingers.
what a thing to say in hindsight. You know, that's like he knew it. Matt was, if you remember, even a couple of episodes ago or last episode or whatever, Ira had that weird little bent telescope thing, yeah, and he could see into the pit, and he could curve the space, and so he could see inside, and he knew there was something wrong, and he finally figured out what was wrong, and wow, what a foreshadow that was. Ooh, that one just blew my mind. I'm like, this is a thing this is one of those DM tricks where you're like, oh, it's missing a lens. Maybe we should go find where the lens is, and maybe we can. And they this was the weird little red herring where they had that broken lens, right? The one that
Mm-hmm.
that the one
The one
that
that Ashton fucking.
Ashton smashed. Hey, this is magical. Can't be broken. Like one of those things, right? It was pretty funny. But they bought that, and I don't even think Matt realized that that's where they were going to go. I think Matt thought that if I give you this little clue, you're going to go and try and find on the piece, on the device, on the key, what that lens is, and then you're going to try and do there would be a little arc on this one arc. It'd be like a little mini arc on an arc. And I sort of was thinking about that, and I'm like, they didn't do the thing that Matt told them to do.
There's no time for it.
Well, there could have been some ways. Who knows, right? They could have just gone straight in and be like, yeah, you don't have a lens, so you can't do this thing. So we're gonna go in and fuck it. Like, they didn't. I don't know. I think there was a lot of nerves going on. I think there was they were fucking terrified to frontal assault this with good reason. But man, I wonder how many plates Matt was spinning the whole time.
And how many that we will never
That's
see
what I mean.
still spinning.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, how many were up there?
Yeah.
Wild.
It's oh man, what am I trying to say? It's like it's kind of railroaded, of course, towards the solstice, of course, but it could go any other way. And maybe I should yes and with this one here with it seemed like if I can yes and yeah, okay, it's. I wonder how long Matthew was kind of, this is my kind of personal opinion coming out, that he was sitting on, like, okay, we can drive this airship into this place. And there was one other thing, I think with Ira doing something where just like, both of them were just nope, they just don't work,
I think this was planned for far too many hundreds of years by Ludinus.
Right.
That's my
put up a
take.
force field. Done.
He already knew what to prepare for.
And know the major players like Ira, perhaps. Yep. I don't know if they're on their radar or not, and I don't know what level Ira's at, but as soon as she sees him and then it's just like, all right, banish that motherfucker, just any powerful character or anything like that. Like
very much.
Everything they planned for the last few episodes was just like gone. Like done. Just in a moment.
There was a funny little thing that happened with on chat when Ludinus puts up his force wall.
The force, yeah.
The wall of force, I believe it's called. He puts it up, and then the airship, shatters against it. Chat started screaming, "The bomb! What about the bomb? The bomb!" And it's like, it doesn't matter, guys. It's a fucking force field. It's a wall of force. Nothing gets through it. It could have been the biggest. It could have been fucking Fat Boy. It wouldn't. A little man and Fat Boy. What were the two bombs? Or whatever.
Yeah.
It could have been. It doesn't matter. That it doesn't get through. Nothing gets through that shit. So
you think they were talking about that, or were they thinking about like where's the bomb gonna go?
No, I think they were talking about the bomb. Well, maybe both. The bomb could have exploded something, and then the bomb would have done a thing. But Matt, he strew the wreckage and fires everywhere. I feel like he didn't miss that point. It didn't make a difference.
Probably went off and just was an explosion, just like the airship. And I feel like there may have been an explosion that I didn't know what it was.
And there's a few of them. There's a couple. I think. Well, there's the stick of dynamite that they threw in, and then there was another one which was at about the 3 hour and a bit mark. I didn't put a timestamp, but it's like 3 hours and 15, something like that. Let's see, around there. Yeah, it's about that point. The when Thule comes back in to call everybody to the key. As she's coming back in, Liam and Marisha both roll d20s, and Liam rolls a 7 and Marisha rolls a 15.
Yeah.
Then there's a massive explosion, which is Caleb and Bo disabling the dispel device, the one that sent the wave of dispel magic up. That's probably I think that's the one you're talking about.
Okay.
I think that's the one you're probably talking about.
Yeah.
The one that was
I mean that. Yeah, there were one or two, maybe three that I was like, Matthew's just like,
yeah,
and you hear that, and then like Ludinus and whomever might be standing there just being like, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. We don't need the dispelled thing anymore.
This is the solstice. We're gonna do this.
Exactly.
Like,
so
don't
I think
worry about that.
That's probably the one you're talking about.
Because that you just
Yep.
got my brain going on that one.
Yep.
Fuck, man.
You're talking about. I'm just gonna free flow this. Talking about the railroading moment when you're right. There's I got feelings about this because there are a lot of railroad moments in this episode where it feels like nothing that the players can do will change the outcome of what's going to happen.
Right.
And there's a big element of truth to that. And again, the Reddits were this weekend the Reddits and the other social media sites, the Facebooks, they were filled with people furious at the game, at a lot of it directed at our good buddy Mr. Mercer for not allowing taking two things, railroading everything and taking away player agency. People mostly being upset that Marisha and Liam were rolling for NPCs, which I also have feelings about it because I agree they kind of shouldn't, but it is a fun device.
I like
so
it.
Should, but they shouldn't because you're saying that they are still those characters, but they're not. But it allows some fun into the game, and there is no way any person at that table didn't like it. There's no way. They all fucking loved it.
Of course.
And that's one of the. That's not rule one. It's one of the very, very, very big rules of D&D is if you're not having fun, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So everybody's having fun. 2 thumbs up from me.
And it's a nice reminder, like something else is going on. Now that they know what the rolls are for, there's like, all right, roll this. And they both rolled shit. There was like a 3 and a 5 or something like that.
Yep.
And then like that was what made them like Caleb show up in the shackles and the collar and all that.
Well, he doesn't show up in the shackles. He floats down
as she came
and
up,
then the golem comes in and grabs him.
But she came in like,
charmed.
I know you got him. I'm fine. It's fine.
Yep.
And I liked knowing what those roles were for. I enjoyed it, because like I've sat at tables before. They're like, hey, can you just roll a quick 20 real quick? And I'm just like, oh, sure. I'm just watching, but roll a 20 and I don't know what it's for, but I enjoyed the moment because I got to roll.
We're talking about, go back to what you just said about Bo walking in. She was clearly stunned or charmed, right? Clearly charmed by just walking down the stairs.
Either charmed or just she knows that Caleb's caught, so she's not going to endanger him.
That's an interesting thought. I think because somebody asked, I think Travis did, is Bo charmed? And he rolled terrible, and so he doesn't know. But okay. I have a feeling that she was charmed. Okay. And there's an interest if so. Now maybe not, but if she was charmed, she would have had stillness of mind, which allows for you never to be charmed.
Shun it, right?
Right. So there's an interesting point there that may or may not be relevant. I don't know. But there's no way that Matt didn't know that and is like, okay, well, it doesn't matter because it's this or it's here's this. And
yeah, she didn't say anything. And she's not the type to go defeatist mode, right? Mm-hmm. Exactly. But it is a wise move to not say anything because Caleb's right there, clearly at the disposal of them. So maybe she was smart for a moment and just didn't Didn't say anything.
I have a feeling that she was charmed by Thule.
That's
or
interesting. I didn't think about that.
the problem with being charmed by Thule is that then that's a concentration check, but maybe it doesn't matter once they shackled her into with all they bound. So maybe she just needed to be charmed for one round, and then they shackle her and with all those, they use like multiple at the wrist, at the elbow, at the shoulder, at the neck,
Yeah.
at the
They know what they're
knees.
dealing with.
Yeah. So that could be I don't know. There's a lot of again, this goes back to the railroading thing. It's like you've done a thing, like Matt, you've done a thing to make it only go one direction, and I don't have a problem with that in this
Not
situation.
at all.
Yeah.
The thing is, what if they rolled really high for that? That means that they could have come in and then they
Right.
may have tried
Right.
to, do something and then shackle them later because they know what these
Absolute-
people are,
Absolutely. And there's
They
another
would
thing,
totally
like,
would have
at
focused
the-
on them for a round of combat,
towards the end of this episode, when things were really turning against them, the party was all rolling terrible. All the rolls were shit. And so I was like, in my notes, I've got like the dice told this part of the story.
Yeah.
They didn't have it. They had a chance. There was a chance. There's always a chance. Listen, if they're rolling those dice at the end of this episode and it's all natural 20s, this Ludinus doesn't have a chance.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of things that happen when you roll amazing, and there's a bunch of things that happen when you don't. So this is the dice telling the story, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
And this is going back
Those
to
are
my
the
other thing that I
plates
was
that
saying.
you're talking about.
Kind of. Also going back to people complaining about this stuff and getting upset visibly, people getting really upset and being chastised by moderators on forums, being like, hey, calm down. You're getting upset at other people who are just having a conversation here. And it's a lot. I'm not talking like a few dissident voices. I'm talking a lot of people being very upset in this one, getting very emotionally attached to a game, which is awesome. I
At least
love
they're
it.
still into it,
It's the passion. I love the passion, but I'm like, hey man, simmer down.
Yeah.
Calm down about this.
Simmer
one.
down, yeah.
Everybody at that table is having a fucking blast, and that's all that matters. Your emotional investment into this thing that is Critical Role is awesome, but y'all need to check yourself sometimes.
Yeah, simmer down. Bring that passion into your own game, sure, and into the comments, I guess. But come on, enjoy the game.
They're
Just like the players at the table. If you're not enjoying the game you're watching, why are you watching it?
live
We've talked about
vicariously
this
through
before.
those players, man. They're having a blast.
Yeah.
Hey,
I mean,
should we do
just-
another rolling?
Any moment, just look at fucking Travis. Every moment of the game, he's
just gonna say that.
loving
Just
it.
Loving these moments, loving them. Think about Travis, the shopping episode Travis,
Ooh, a
and
4.
Apogee Solstice Travis. They are
Yeah.
two different people.
I got a 4. You're gonna beat me.
16.
Yeah. See, those are wasted rolls, man.
Well, I'm gonna jump to. Bum, 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 bum. Oh,
Speaking of
here
all
we
that
go.
charm shit, I'm gonna bring this thing up next.
3 hours, 33 minutes, and 20
Timestamp.
seconds. The big beacon reveal. So Ludinus threw this beacon, the beacon, Luxem beacon, inside. And as soon as that happened, I think there was some conversation at the table about, it's the Luxon. And then they're like, well, we don't know what that is, and blah, blah, blah. And as they were talking, I suddenly got this fucking crazy idea. What if there is no Predathos and all of this is for the Luxon?
Ooh, I just got chills.
Like, what if it's not any of that nonsense? And
It's
what if this is
Instead of a red
all
herring,
about?
it's a red moon.
Well, what if all of this is about the gods? This is about the gods shattering the Titans in the beginning, the pre-calamity stuff. Where like
Divergence that you're talking about, right?
when the gods first landed on Exandria and they were the
Vestiges of
Titans,
Deliverance. Wait, yeah.
and they had there's a term for whatever it is, when they fought the Titans, and that is sort of we don't know this for sure.
Get in touch. Divergence,
there-
calamity.
there-
What's going on here? Are
There
we
is
missing
a
the word?
thing in Exandria lore where the Luxem was found to be bits and pieces of something. And what if it's those bits and pieces coming back and whispering in Ludinus's ear, hey, psst, guess what? You should put me inside that thing so you can release Predathos. We'll call it Predathos. You should release Predathos so that, who knows, man? Like, there's a bunch of stuff that could be happening, but that was the initial thought that came into my head. I'm like, what if this is...
God, you're fast.
What if this is the Luxon trying to get put back together again? What do you think?
I like that. I like that a lot. You sound like Garth Brooks now. I like that. I didn't think of it. Like when the dodecahedron showed up, I wasn't thinking of like any connection to gods and shit. I was just like, oh, cool, it's a nice little connection to campaign 2. Just watching the reactions just as a dumbass spectator.
Ludinus put all of the residuum together in those lines, and then he filled it with dunamis juice, and then had the beacon in the middle, and then used it to do to move the moon, or to freeze time where they are, so that the moon could move into the right place. Right. And then the Luxon is like
seconds. That's what confused everybody at the table, including myself.
Totally. But he just froze time where they were. Right. That's all.
And then battle ensued at that point as well in that stasis, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that battle ensued when he unfroze time.
And like maybe like it happened and then it's hard to say because it wasn't explicitly stated.
Nope. But I think what happened is it was very much like Travis actually said, would it be cool if it was like time machine where he blah blah. And I think he was exactly onto something. I think that's exactly what Matt did. Was he did a time machine where you pull the lever and then everything around you goes normal speed and you're ultra slowed down.
Right.
And then release the lever and then everything comes you come back to normal time with everything else, but time has gone by. So the moon, nice, good. The moon has moved into the right position up above. Right. That was my sort of take on it.
Huh. That's interesting, man.
I don't know. It's just a thought that popped into my head. I'm like,
maybe that's why they were never talked about. They were never recorded because they're not fucking real.
Yeah, because it's a fucking thing. It's a. I don't know. Is it the Titans want back? Were the Titans completely destroyed? Is there a thing that if we go way back to the time when the Titans were on Exandria, were they the Luxon? Were all of them? And this is the bits and pieces of them that are left? I don't know.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense immediately. I mean, without spoiling anything about it, reminds me of a situation in God of War. I'm not even going to say which one, but where there was a situation where this happened and then some kind of time funny stuff happened and then it was like, oh shit, that's what that was, Right. That's what this is reminding me of. And if you've played the games, you might know what I'm talking about. But
feelings are always mixed when it comes to time travel as a device, right?
Yeah, you can't put too much on it because you can really fuck shit up, like the grandfather paradox, right?
It's also a bit of a cheat for the writers or whoever is doing it.
It was all a dream.
Yeah, right, exactly. It can be, and I'm kind of into it. I kind of like it because I love Back to the Future, and I think Back to the Future is like one of those. It's a great way to look at time travel.
They bypassed the paradox, I mean, on purpose so they could have a movie, Totally. But like the situation with time dilation, which is dunamis. That makes perfect sense. Go into the halls of Hellas, hey, and time passed 3 weeks. You were in there for 8 hours. It was 3 weeks out here. That shit makes sense. That's just special relativity, which is, we have mathematical formulas for that shit.
Right.
That's fine. But
you know what I'm going to say
or
here,
to travel through.
You know what I'm going to say though.
I'm not sure.
This is D&D, man. Yeah. Where magic is involved, that all physics and math goes out the window.
You still got to be careful with time, though. Nope.
No, you don't.
If you do that and be like, "Well, what about this?" Be like, "It just happened." Okay.
You're still thinking like a real world. This is magic. It's magic. It's like if we're talking about magic, then everything else, nothing matters.
Yeah. If you're talking about magic, anything's possible.
That's right. That's right. Wish. You get a wish.
This is the same thing that happened in my
The
fucking sophomore
fucking
year in college. They're like, hey, not everything is exactly where you think it is. I'm like,
yeah.
what? And that's why I did not get a C in that class. I got a D. I had to retake it. Second time I took it, I was on board.
Ouch.
But I
Ouch.
still have it in me. Like, no,
Mhm.
you can't fuck with
No,
time.
it's there. I
Not
see it,
not
man.
instantaneous fucking with time.
Mhm.
I'm gonna yes and with this it reminded me of it when you were talking about Bo perhaps being charmed
Mm.
because we were talking about last episode the rules for command where it's like in
Ah,
combat.
I've got it down here as well. It's a fun one.
Okay, in combat, it's
Mhm.
on their next turn they do what you commanded them to do. But
Right.
if you're not in combat, which happened once in this episode,
Mhm.
they just do it right away. It doesn't
Mhm.
take 3 seconds or whatever. It
Whatever.
doesn't wait for their turn. It's just
That's
if
right.
you're not in combat versus in combat,
Mhm.
you're an experienced D&D player. What's going on there? Is it just up to the DM to
Yeah.
just to say
sort
what
of
happens?
I think as a DM you just, well, I don't think every DM would do this, but I think a lot of them would. It just happens. And everybody is sort of, and you're like, okay, this is happening. While it's happening, what are you guys doing? You're kind of running everything at the same time. And you give everybody at the table an opportunity to react or act accordingly. Now,
Yeah.
if they want to do something that's very much more complicated than that, then you're like, well, you're going to continue searching. Well, that's going to clearly take more than the time for the command spell. So you're just going to keep doing your thing over there, and you're going to continue walking up that way. And oh, you want to throw what? As soon as that command thing goes on, you want to do something against the person who's being the thing that's being commanded. Okay, well then that's going to happen simultaneously. So I think you just sort of go around the table and you sort of ask everybody what's up, and then you make judgment calls accordingly.
Okay.
You give the again, this goes back to the agency thing. You do as a seasoned D&D player and a semi-seasoned, more medium rare or rare semi-cured DM. I feel like I like metaphors tonight. I'm really into metaphors for some reason. I'm not sure why.
What's the goal? Well done.
I don't know.
It's
Yeah.
like, no,
As I was
you're burnt.
as I was formulating that in my head, I'm like, wait, where are you going with this? That doesn't make any sense.
Just-
Well done. Well done's gross.
Just
Unless
char
it's
you
brisket.
beyond use.
Well done brisket. So this is where I'm going with it. In a smoker, you got the brisket, and you want a good solid 16-hour. Okay. Anyway, so I think you just sort of let it happen organically. That's
Right.
my answer.
Okay. Yeah. It makes sense, because if you're not in battle, I mean, like, who's to say? Like we've talked about before, when you're in battle, it's kind of simultaneous,
Yeah.
but there is, like 6 seconds
Yeah.
per round, so there's a little bit of there's a sequence
Yep.
to it, but
Yep.
it's all
Totally.
pretty fucking fast.
Totally.
So if somebody's standing on the stairs and they get charmed, they continue walking down the stairs and then charm them again, perhaps, or whatever. You just kind of leave it to the DM to either railroad or not railroad.
I guess we're back to rollies again.
Yeah, let's get through a few more, man.
I got a couple.
We're already,
I got a few more.
40 minutes in, so I know of this broadcast, not the failed one.
Another 17.
At 12, man, you're fucking killing it today.
There we go. There we go. All right. I'm gonna go straight to the Kidior because
All right, that was my next point too.
cool. As soon as it happened was as Matt was, I'm gonna give myself a little one of these, little pat on the back. When he made that noise, I was like, Kidior, and I
didn't
blew my
catch it.
mind. It blew my mind because everybody at the table was like, huh? What? And I'm like, oh, I did something smart.
Me too.
I as soon as, and I told you this, I watched this down south. I was camping this past weekend. So my first watch was Saturday morning, and I was in my hammock and I had my little tablet in front of me and I was watching it super intently and I had the earbuds in and I was listening and I'm like, oh, it's Kidior. It has to be. And then it was like, ah. But I want to talk about something that I feel might be some.
They all got it
confusion.
before I did. I didn't know what it was. Like
Cool.
as soon as they said and it starts to unfurl, whatever the words they were that Matthew used, I was like, I'm like looking at the people at the table on my phone. I'm like, what the fuck? What is it? What do you know that I don't know? and then eventually it was like, oh, there we go. Okay.
Well, I had to clarify this for myself because I'm like, there is no way Power Word Stun should have put the Earth Elemental Keyleth into a stun.
Because
there's no way.
It depends on hit points, right?
Exactly. So that was the point, is that Keyleth has a fucking way more hit points than...
I'm assuming she was full coming in, especially with all the attacks that came in. Like
Power Word Stun is, I don't know exactly what Keyleth's hit points are, but they're clearly more than 150. They have to be. There's a 20th level Archdruid, like absolutely.
She may have took some damage up there before she Ketered, but
it doesn't matter because the Earth Elemental only has 126 hit points, and Power Word Stun, if it's no save if you're less than 150 hit points,
right? Oh,
and that's it.
Under 150.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
So Ludinus, Matt vis-a-vis Ludinus, absolutely planned this.
Yes.
And it's like that's what he says. It's like right on time.
Yeah.
Power
Second time through, when I heard that, I was like, "You motherfucker!"
And then with Power Word Stun, you get a con save at the end of every turn to try to resist the stun, but it doesn't matter.
The amount of damage she was taking.
Thule went straight in. Again, this was planned. Now I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna carry through to my next point.
Go ahead.
Because I was like, why? This doesn't make any sense. Why would Thule be doing this? And then we get to the big reveal. We know why. And it brought me all the way back to EXU. I made the connection. I got it. I'm like, this is why Thule attacked Keyleth way back, or the Echoes, or the Assassins, or whatever it was.
Not Thule herself.
No, but the Assassins way back in the
backstories, at least.
What's the place where they live in the Arashari?
The Arashari.
Vespa, not Vespa. What's it called?
Oh, Zephyra.
Zephyra, Jesus. Where they live in Zephyra, when they went back in, this is why. This is why those assassins killed Orum's family. For this moment. So that Orum would be here to be able to call Keyleth to the ruins to
these motherfuckers are too smart.
Allow Vax to apparate so that he could then become the lens.
Which is, it's funny they say these motherfuckers. This is all Matthew's machinations.
Exactly.
That's insane.
So this is like, as I was putting all of this together, I'm like, holy fuck. Jesus. So this is the reason why these events of EXU even fucking happened way back when. I mean, it's I don't know. Was this Matt's goal the entire time, or did he cobble it together as this, or I don't know, but
when these
end of campaign wrap up is going to be amazing.
When these assassins went in,
which by the way, end of campaign wrap up is happening next week. Calling it.
I don't think so. I think we got 2 more episodes.
Sure.
What was I saying? That's insane to think, like, okay, when they came in, like they were level 5,
something like that.
When they no, when because it was before EXU even happened, right?
Yeah, 3, I think.
So like they all came in at 3, and like if they really wanted to kill somebody, then they would send in they would send in Odahan, for fuck's sake, but they didn't.
Yeah.
In order to do this, I mean, okay, now there's a difference between.
This is all conspiracy. I have no idea if this is true. I'm just saying.
I know, but it seems to make a ton of sense because of how they planned out this whole, Keyleth Vax thing.
Yep.
Is that if they send them in, okay, so like they're not gonna kill Keyleth, of course not. Nope. With like level 3 characters can take them out. However, these little guys, but like, why was Orum chosen instead of his husband? Like,
I don't think that's the point. I think that just it had to be somebody.
Right. And you had to do something to somebody. You had to fuck somebody up.
Yeah. Narratively,
to get
sort
them
of
to
makes
want
sense.
to
It's like,
go
okay,
forward and do something.
I mean, there's an alternate reality where Orum dies and Liam is playing Will.
Right.
Right. There's another alternate reality where that is happening. So it doesn't really matter if it's Orem or Will. It had to be one of them that survived to be able to get to this point where they could call Keyleth in. There are some holes in my logic too, though, because Thule does kill Orem at one point, like when Orem dies
Oh,
in
okay.
that battle. So that's a little bit of a hole in it,
Die.
but but I don't think it really matters. I
So
was
just
thinking
die
about
die
this
is a
one. I'm
word for
like,
diaper for babies.
I don't think that really matters. I don't think that really doesn't at that point in the adventure doesn't matter that much
I think
because they
that
would
the balls have
still
been have been
exactly
pushed already.
right,
Yeah.
right. So Keela is still aware of what's going on through Orem at that point anyway, and then there is, there's other cogs in that gear.
Yeah.
But I think putting it all together that this was definitely part of the plan. They needed Keyleth to be invested so that the sliver of divinity could make an appearance that could then be crushed into a lens so that the actual Malleus key could be functional.
Because I think it's missing a lens.
Right. Right.
And if I can yes on that real quick, which is very related to this point right here, I think about Matthew's process a lot. You can never really know how it goes, but he's sitting there like, okay, this happened, and this is
Right.
what what good writing is for any good show, any good
Totally.
sequence of movies like trilogy or
Totally.
whatever. You'll sit there and be like, constantly look back at what happened in the past and new developments and find ways to connect them. And what we're talking about right now is one of those great places where you could be like, you know what? I'm going to make that canon. That is why they attacked at this point.
Right.
And I'm sitting there thinking like Matthew in his office just being like, oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
And just that moment he gets where he's like, oh, and I'm going to say, I had this plan all along. And you can't deny it, because he's the fucking creator,
Yeah. He's the universe.
'Cause I don't think that he thought of that way back in EXU days, but
Who knows?
he's so good and he's so smart that he
knows?
put it together. If this was all part of the plan.
I mean, if you remember, he was a player in that first EXU.
Yeah.
So it could have been Abria that came up with that. And
who knows who he's talking to in the meantime?
Yeah. Or he said, hey, Abria, make this thing happen. I got a plan for way down the road.
That would be insane. I hope Abri is there for the campaign wrap up, as
Who
opposed to
knows?
maybe others.
I think there's a lot of things going on. I got a lot of things.
Yeah, and let me just tack on one more little thing before we roll again.
Go.
And second time through, a lot more shit became clear to me.
Yeah, me too.
I was paying more attention to what Ludinus was saying. Like
Yeah,
I was distracted with what the players were doing and saying, and at the table. I don't want to call it table talk, but them talking at the table. I wasn't listening to Ludinus.
Did a lot of it kind of resonate in your head as well? Because a lot of what Ludinus was saying really resonated in Ben's head. I was like, fuck yeah.
It didn't. No, the first time through did not resonate because it sounded like typical villain speak.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I mean
the second time.
It doesn't matter, And the second time through, it was like, I have written here, it's a full-on ambush. That was Matthew, not Ludinus. He was like, no, this is a full-on ambush. And he said ambush the second time through. I'm like, what? Because they were attacking Keyleth, getting her down, and then he totally had planned the whole Vax intervention and the Vax, the whole situation.
Yep.
And like I don't think it was a slip because it all happened so fast. But
no, it was definitely planned. It was all, and I mean, again, like this is where a lot of that railroading nonsense comes in, where the people are getting very upset about it, and they're like, no, you didn't give the players a chance to even react. You took it all away from them. You just did your thing, and this is what like shitty DMs do, and blah blah blah. I do too. There is a sliver, a nugget of truth in there to what people are saying, because shitty DMs do that. They do railroad, and they do push players' buttons, and they do make things happen without players' consent, and all of that, and it becomes an ego trip for them. And I've played with DMs like that. I know what it's like. It sucks, but that's not this case at all. Man,
one more Rolly.
Let's do it. One more. I got another one.
I've got 3 evergreens. That's all I got left.
I just want to say just one real quick thing, because that, like, when Vax pops in, at that point, there's a three
I
Liam characters
lost it.
and three Marisha characters. Oh, did you?
I
Oh,
lost it at that moment.
oh,
The way Matthew pantomimed it, just
I know.
feathers. I
Yeah.
was like, whoosh.
You're not the only one because chat fucking exploded
The
at that
power
point
of
too.
love, dude.
I had
You
to
know?
pause my second watch through. I had to pause and I was like, "Holy fuck! That cannot like in real time cannot keep up with chat." It was like 20,000 voices screaming going by. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Everybody started.
All the dagger
Yeah.
things flying through. I'm like, holy shit.
Because like every time I turn my phone sideways,
Yeah, the
chat
chat
shows
comes up.
you know.
Yep.
But like if I turn it this way, it's not there. So I saw
Yep.
dagger, like everywhere. And dude, I was on my way to see my guitarist Brahm play at a show, but I was like 10 seconds from the door, and that shit happened. And so I had to stop. I had to like have another cigarette, finish a beer. And I'm like, I can't go in there with puffy eyes like this. Everybody's gonna be asking, like, dude, are you okay? Be like, no, I was just watching a show.
They'll
all think I'm lying.
This druid's dead fiance showed up.
And that's when I still had 20 minutes to watch at that point, because whatever they put on before was like 4 hours and 19 instead of 4:55. Ooh, I got an 18.
Oh, did you?
I'm gonna take this 8. Hey, I finally win one today.
All yours, buddy.
All right, we're going evergreen now. This one is more relevant. The voice of Earth Ellie in Marisha's words, which I think that's the first time we've heard the term Earth Ellie, which is kind of, going in line with current episodes of The Last of Us.
Oh, there. I see what you're doing. Okay, gotcha.
Such a good show.
I've not watched the last 2 episodes. I've been too busy to
I caught up on the last 2 last night.
I was thinking about getting one tonight, but I think I'm gonna wait. I got too much on the go right now.
Yeah.
There's no rush. I'm
Take your
gonna
time.
hold on.
Won't
To it.
spoil anything,
Yeah.
but I think they did a good job. The voice of Earth Ellie in the first campaign, it was when she was in an Earth elemental or any elemental, it was like it wasn't voice, right? And if she was talking to some other Earth elemental,
Oh, that's interesting. I never thought about that.
and she was
'Cause
sitting there
Earth-
was like,
Earth elementals
"By the voice
speak
of the
Terran."
Tempest,"
Yeah.
like, and she belted that out, and everybody heard it. Like, I don't know, is that some level 20 shit, or is that just kind of like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna spin it a little bit.
I think that's a let's spin it a
poetic
little bit
license.
because it's I think so. I wonder if that's a thing. I never even thought about that because that's right. Earth elementals speak the language is called Terran.
Okay. I didn't know there was a
Terran.
name for it.
Yeah, every elemental has their own language. I know this. The reason I know this is because in my last Pathfinder campaign, I played a dwarven stone lord who gets a pet
Speaks
earth
Terra?
elemental. Well, I'd level like 8 or something like that, 6 or something. I get a pet earth elemental who I called Ricket, and he was like my animal companion. And I had
name.
to learn in Pathfinder. The mechanics are quite different, but I had to spend skill points to learn his language, which was
Oh.
Terran.
Huh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
because otherwise I couldn't communicate with him.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, so that's the only reason I know that obscure little bit. But yeah, you're right. I never thought about that. I didn't think that. I guess that is just Matt's poetic license. Because why not? It makes it way better if he does it that way.
Yeah, like he can always retcon and be like, "Yeah, it was some fucking dope."
Grumbly. It sounded like gravel sliding down a
They
escarpment.
called. I say dope monk shit too much. Dope.
Druid.
What is she? Druid. Dope. Druid. Say that 2 times fast.
Drope. Druid. It.
Drop. Shit.
I'm not gonna end that because I don't have anything for that. But I will end with my
I gotta
last
pee
little one.
real quick.
Cool.
Real soon.
Matt split the party at the end.
Yeah.
And Chetney with his high percent dirty 20, I think he rolled, realized that he was in the Crystal Sands tundra just outside of Uthadurn,
Yep.
where he
Grew up, or where he's from.
where he spent all
He's
that
been
time.
alive for ages.
So I know where they are. They're in Wildmount.
We all do, yeah.
But where do you think the other Laudna, Ashton, and Orem are?
They're
There's
by
only
a
one-
cliff of some sort.
There's only one place that we know of, roughly, I think. Chat, get into this. they're on the edge of a rocky cliff, pools of hot water with little geysers, smells sulfuric.
That's where Beauregard's from.
Comorta, right?
Yeah.
Comorta. That's the
Which
only
is also
place
wild.
that.
Wait.
No, yeah, no, yes,
that-
yes. That's
Wait,
Wild
wow,
Mountain.
that's still a wild mountain, right?
Still Wild Mountain.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's Uthadurn is up here by the Flockhead Alps, way over there, and kind of not far south. It's still in the northern part of the empire. Is Comorta, which may be where they. But why? Why? Like this is my big
close.
question.
And weren't they also sitting on snow as well?
No, in a little rocky
not?
escarpment. Like
Okay.
he said, rock that whatever.
Okay.
And the sun was rising where they no, it was dark. It was dark. So that's the other reason why I was thinking, because as the sun comes up in the east, the Uthadurn is farther east than Comorta would be. Comorta would be farther west, so it would still be night. And where the other ones were, the sun was rising. But my big question is, why the fuck are they on another continent?
And
like, what
the
is
same
that?
one?
Well, maybe potentially, but maybe they're not. Maybe Laudna and Ashton and Orem are still on Marquette. But regardless of where they are, why are FCG Fern, Chetney, and Imogen near Earthadern and Wildmount?
We got to stay tuned.
What is the I've been thinking about this for a couple of days. What is the logic by putting them on another continent? There's something, and I can't wait to find out.
Could be random. You know, Matthew could have randomly rolled the same continent for both of them. You know, it's possible. You know, there's Isira, there's fucking Wildmount, there's the other one.
Does that mean that Taldori? Does that mean that
Taldori is the whole world, isn't it? No, that's Exandria.
Is the world. Taldori is the continent. Does that mean that the other ones, all of them, are also all banished to other parts? Does that mean that like Keyleth also got shunted away? Did Vax, or is he done? Is he a plasma ball forever? I don't know.
Lots of questions on that one.
Lots of questions, man.
Lots of questions. Dude, I'm gonna pee real soon. I think your dog might too. I think Lucy girl. Look at her.
Yeah, she's definitely.
Oh, we can see her in the shot. Yeah.
She's definitely waiting for me.
Hey man, well we got one more and then there's a week off, right? I don't think this is going to be the last one.
No, we got one more, and there's a 12-sided die coming up. 4-sided dive coming up soon too.
You're stuck on the beacons, man.
All
right,
so
well, dude,
let's call it.
Let's call it. All right, cool. Let's see. Lots of stuff to talk about here. So if you're interested in the conversation, get involved right there in the chat. That's the best way to get involved. We have one more recording session on Thursday. We're wrapping up the whole recording. We send that shit to England, get it fucking mixed. You know, so like in about a month or two, we're gonna have a fucking recording. Stay in touch for shows. Other than that, if nothing else, Ben, I really gotta piss. So let's call it. All right.
Call it.
If nothing else, then don't forget to love each other. And is it finally Friday? Cheers, everybody. Peace.
We got a big one coming up. It's gonna be great.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great. Cheers, everybody.
Take it easy, bro. Oh, bye, nice.